So this is my Gimmick Puppet deck. I tried various different builds and I ended up on this one. I'm not sure if it is the best version, but it's what I ended up on. Also keep in mind I am free to play and some card choices are based on what cards I have and which ones I don't have. So you might have some better super rare or ultra rare staples for this deck. 3 Gimmick Puppet Scissor Arms. Important at the start of the game to get Doll in the grave. Of course also 3 Doll. That's basically the most important monster in the deck. 3 Magnet Doll. 3 Bisque Doll. 1 Shadow Feeler. Those are all the Gimmick Puppets I play. On top of that I play 3 Gearspring Spirit. That's also the reason why I don't play any hand traps, because this only works if you only have machines in your graveyard. If you have a different type than machine in your graveyard, Gearspring won't work. But it's a great card if you only have machines, that's why I prefer to play it. And 1 copy of Arcjet Lightcraft. That's basically an instant rank 9 Exceed. And spells, of course, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Reborn. 3 Upstart. For me Upstart is a staple I play in every deck to get your combos quicker. 3 Trade-In. 3 Allure of Darkness. 1 Advanced Draw. 3 Chunk Puppet. 3 Forbidden Chalice. 1 Lightning Storm. 1 Rank Up Magic. That's one of the most important cards in the deck. And 3 Puppet Parade. An extremely powerful trap card that lets you search out the rank up magic spell if your life points are at least 2000 below your opponent's. That's also a reason why Upstart Goblin is basically a must play in this deck, because if your life points are not 2000 below your opponent's, you cannot search the rank up with the trap. So how this works is usually either you try to get Rare Doll in your grave with this first turn, or if you have the trap at the start of the game, you basically play for the trap, you let your opponent attack, you then activate the trap and get a bunch of Gimmick Puppets, as many as your opponent has monsters, get the rank up spell, and then on your turn you can make CXYZ, number C or CXYZ, rank up, exceed monsters to win the game. For the extra deck, 2 copies of the Gimmick Puppet Link monster, Chimera Doll. I think you need 2 copies, 1 might work also, but in some situation you need a second one. But most of the time 1 should be enough. 1 copy of the Gimmick Puppet Exceed. If you have 2 level 4s, which won't happen often, but it can happen, and sometimes it can be extremely useful, you can take your opponent's monsters if they have levels. So if they have powerful synchro or effect monsters, of course it's useless with Exceed or Link. But if they have powerful synchro or effect monsters, you can take control of them and make them level 8 to use them for Exceed yourself. Then of course a bunch of level 8 Exceed monsters. I have 1 copy of Giant Grinder, 2 copies would be better, but I only have 1 giant grinder. 2 copies of Puppet of Strings, so you need at least 3 copies of rank 8 Gimmick Puppet Exceeds. Then I also play 1 Gimmick Puppet of YuGiOh, that's more for fun. It needs 3 level 8 monsters, not 2. 1 Coach King Giant Trainer, it's also more for fun. If you somehow have the opening hand, it's a good turn 1 monster because you can draw 3 cards on turn 1. You can't conduct your battle phase, you use this the turn you use this effect, but it lets you draw 3 cards. But it doesn't work with Duel. You have to keep in mind this one only, Duel, can only be used for Gimmick Puppet Exceed. That's a trap for misplays. I misplayed a lot because I kept forgetting that you can only use it for Gimmick Puppet Exceed monsters and not for other Exceed monsters. Then I happened to pull this rank 8 Spring and Ship. I put it into my deck. It's just a nice rank 8. And for Arcjet Lightcraft you need 1 rank 9, and this is the best one. Or maybe there's a better one, but this is pretty good. Phantom Fortress. I'm not going to pronounce this. Phantom Fortress, rank 9. And then of course a bunch of CXYZ, Chaos Exceed for your rank up. Those are the most powerful ones. 1 Ultimate Trainer, 1 C15 Giant Hunter. This is the most important one, C40 Puppet of Dark Strings. Then the CXYZ version of YuGiOh, C88 Destiny, no, not Destiny, Disaster YuGiOh. That's an alternate win condition. This has an alternate win condition too, but it's too slow. This is an alternate win condition you might actually be able to use. I have a clip, I think 2 games I won with this effect. This is also a nice CXYZ that can win you games that you would otherwise lose. I think it's a must in this deck. C107 Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. I think those were all monsters. Anyways, the usual combo with Exceed is the most played one. Of course it's not always the best one, it depends on the situation, but in most situations you summon this one. Number 40, Puppet of Strings. Use its effect to place a string counter on all other monsters, and then you rank it up into C40. And this is the effect, it destroys on summon, it destroys all monsters with string counters, so all other monsters thanks to this. And on top of that you draw 1 card and you inflict effect damage to your opponent equal to the highest original attack of the destroyed monsters. So that effect alone, and you can still attack your opponent afterwards. So basically this combo lets you destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls, deal damage equal to the highest attack one, and then attack them afterwards. That's game most of the time. That's the strongest part of this deck, I think.